And also the finance cost was lower, mainly because of the lowering of interest rate, but also because of good management. Other than that, I think overall the performance of the company is healthy, and we are very positive that the company will continue to progress in the future years. As far as the group is concerned, PRL could not perform, was not up to the same standard as last year, mainly because of the declining oil prices during the period, and also because the gross refinery margins across the globes have reduced, and this is actually internationally pegged. So this is a main reason for their loss during the last 3 quarters. As far as future initiatives are concerned, there is alternate fuel electric charging stations that we intend to grow in. We've, like I mentioned earlier, we've introduced blue LPG, which will be now spread to the entire country. We'll continue rehabilitation of our storages. We will be looking at very seriously considering investment in Pakistan Refinery Limited for its expansion. We will be automating and digitizing more of our retail outlets. Inshallah, we'll continue to maintain a market leadership in jet fuels, and there is a business process re-engineering going on across the board, which helps us optimizing our processes and bringing down our costs. So this is all from me. I would welcome questions from any one of you, you can raise a hand in online, and we can take you one by one to answer all your questions.
Presentation mode.
Presentation. You?
Yes, sir.
The job then.
जवाब देंगे ना
What sort of changes can we expect in LNG?
Question here.
What sort of changes can we expect in LNG terms during the price reopening FY26?
So the LNG terms for reopening would be based on the market situation then and the forecast for that period. So we would be negotiating the prices opening, but this would not impact the current financial year. I mean, the next financial year, it would impact the year after that. So this would be more applicable to the year of 26-27. However, a lot of considerations will determine the price. That would be the supply and demand situation in the market of LNG at that point in time, the country's need at that point in time, and many other factors. So we will update our shareholders as we go along, but at the moment, there would be no change in the forthcoming year.
मैं नाम बताओ पहले क्वेश्चन किसने पूछा फिर क्वेश्चन जोर से रीड करो मैं क्या Excuse me, mic इधर
Abdul Qasid, we are unmuting you. Please, you can ask the question.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdul Qasid. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Ji. So I have a few questions. Should I put them up one by one, or could I just quickly line up the few questions that I have?
One by one, please.
So firstly, since there's news that, and it has been reported that the power sector circular debt resolution has already been approved and the government is forward with that, the IMF has also approved that. So if you could kindly provide some guidance or some, could you elaborate a bit on how much of that can we expect to actually flow towards PSO eventually? And also in terms of the utilization of those proceeds, what is the current strategy or the current plan that the PSO has? So for example, in terms of the debt retirement, how much of that could be expected to retire the outstanding debt of PSO? And because there's also this element of concession that there is in the FE borrowing. So what exactly is PSO's strategy once PSO receives it, and also some clarity on how much of it can be received? I have a few other questions as well, if you could maybe answer this one first.
Sure. So yes, the news is correct that a lot of effort is being made to settle the circular debt. And we are one of the biggest victims, I would say, of the circular debt. But however, having said that, there is no definitive plan in action at the moment. So I can't give you a precise amount of how much will be recovered. Of course, the plan is to recover the entire amount, the principal plus the LPS. However, it seems like a very uphill task for the government at this point in time. So we are working very closely with the Ministry of Petroleum and also with the Finance Ministry to kind of come up with, agree on plans which can pay off our entire debt. And as far as the utilization of that debt is concerned, our primary goal is to, of course, settle all our loans, because we are currently borrowed between 350 to 400 billion on an average. So we will settle all our debts, and there are quite a few investment initiatives available which we can then explore once the liquidity is made available to us. However, let me put a word of caution. No specific, no definitive plan is in motion at this one time. There are various options being reviewed, and yes, the ministry and the government of Pakistan is very serious in doing something to settle the circular debt.
Right. Thank you. Thanks a lot for the explanation. Just to circle back on the point that you said about the amount, just to circle back on the aspect of the amount. So now that there is a definitive announcement that around 1.275 trillion will be settled. So obviously the allocations would have been marked up. So in terms of like the estimated amount for the LNG related settlement is around 220 billion. So in that regard, I was asking whether there could be some clarification as to how much PSO can expect, maybe a ballpark figure or some kind of a range of how much can be expected to flow towards PSO.
Like the other plans, this is also this is also in a planning stage at this point in time. There's nothing definitive of 1.27. I know it has been kind of given in the newspapers. It has been publicized, but sitting at the helm of affairs, I haven't seen any plan as yet to get this. There were talks with the banks, definitely, but nothing is materialized at the moment, and the allocation will be based on the equitable basis as to whatever the total debt is. So we will get that, but and I was very excited to read that in the newspaper, but talking to the people, the plan is not definitive at this point in time, so we will have to wait and see for that. But we will get an equitable portion, I can say you that. That was assured.
Okay, thank you. Secondly, another question was that we have seen in recent times, in the recent months, that there has been a rapid erosion of PSO's market share from like around PSO used to be in the range of around 50-51%, which has now slid down to around 40 to 43% in that range. And we have seen Go aggressively capturing the market share. We have seen smaller players extending the market share in the lower cost of working capital environment. So what exactly is PSO's response strategy to that, and what kind of progress is PSO making on that front? If you could maybe elaborate on that.
It has been an interesting year for PSO. The market has kind of been very, very competitive, I would say, or yeah, competitive is the right word, competitive during these 9 months. There have been a lot of discounts being thrown by a lot of oil marketing companies, which to us sometimes is unreasonable and sometimes actually not profitable for us to offer that kind of those kind of discounts. So yes, there's been some decline in the market, but this share is kind of our normal share. The year before that was an abnormal year because of the financial issues of a lot of OMCs during that year. So our market share had kind of risen to above 50%, but on a reality basis, actualization basis, I think this is our market share, around 45-46%. And we aim to strengthen this share. We aim to organically grow this share, but we will not do anything stupid throwing discounts in the market and spoiling the industry. So yes, there have been some, like you mentioned, a few companies. There have been companies who are offering discounts even beyond the OMC margin that we get. So we are also surprised as to how they're affording it. But yes, there have been some companies doing that, and we don't want to get into that kind of rut. So we offer discounts as we should. Our share is organic. Our share is through our own very loyal customers, and we would maintain that share and strengthen that share accordingly.
Right, right. Thank you. Just to add up another question to that, it was reported that obviously there was this bottleneck issue going on for the refineries signing of the upgrade policy, which was the sales tax exemption issue, and it has also been reported that because of the sales tax exemption that was announced on the petroleum products, because of not being able to claim the input tax adjustment, there is a recurring level of losses as well that both refineries and OMCs are incurring because of that. And in the news, the quantum was reported at around 34 to 35 billion, out of which around 17 to 18 billion was attributed to refineries, and the remaining was attributed to OMCs. So could you provide some light, or could you shed some light into how much PSO and PRL separately have basically incurred on a recurring basis during FY25 losses due to the sales tax exemption, not being able to claim the input tax? And also any outlook that you could share moving forward on the signing of the refinery policy now that the measure that was expected in the FY26 budget has not been included, the sales tax exemption has not been removed, and we are standing at a status quo position right now.
So I agree. This is one of my bigger concerns at this one time. Sales tax actually is impacting PSO in a very substantial way as well. The government, the ministry had given us some leeway in the last pricing that they have designated a specific amount per liter, which would go towards our losses, which would take care of our losses of sales tax that we would face. However, having said that, the sales tax receivable still stays where it is at this one time, and that is a substantial amount for us. And we are kind of coordinating with. I myself had a meeting with the finance minister and the petroleum minister. We've had multiple meetings on this subject to kind of recover our sales tax receivable amount. But as far as the losses are concerned, I think the formula that was introduced by the government in the last pricing will kind of take care of our losses, ours and refinery losses as well. However, this is a very temporary and a kind of a band-aid fix to the issue. The policy has to be changed. Unfortunately, during this budget, also the government did not bring petroleum products into the sales tax ambit, which is creating the entire issue. So we will be networking. OCSC is working with us, and many other, all our sister companies are working with us on this issue, and we will solve it, inshallah. We're working with the ministries, relevant people.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the detailed answers as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Basil. We move to next participant, Abdullah Omar from NBP Funds.
Assalamualaikum, sir. Thank you very much for detailed presentation. I have just a couple of questions. First one is related to OMC's margins revision. Since we have seen from a long time margins proposed by our of PKR 1.35 rupees per liter was not revised. So what is the expected timeline of this revision? And since FY25 is yet about to be concluded as well, so should we expect margins revision for both the years to be notified in the coming days?
I don't think the coming fortnight there would be any change. The oil prices are increasing, and it is the worst time to put in additional cost on the end consumer. So they will be increased. We've submitted a lot of calculations. We've justified the increase to the ministries and relevant concerned people. However, we do not have a deadline for implementation of those margins. They would come up when the government deems fit. There is a lot of negotiation between even the dealers and the government and the OMCs and the government. So this conversation is an ongoing conversation. However, I do not have a date in sight for those revisions, especially in a growing oil prices kind of scenario. That would be difficult. I can say that, being very, very realistic about the situation.
Okay, and what's your take on the demand of HSD and MOGAS for FY26, considering some economic stabilization currently in place? So how much of increase you should expect for FY26 in MOGAS and HSD demand?
We budgeted for 3 to 5% increase in the MOGAS and diesel growth, which is again organic growth, considering we are kind of consolidating our economy at this one time. So there can be a 3 to 5% increase in the overall industry.
Okay, great. And lastly, if you can share LPS receivables as of now, what is the quantum and is breakup from SNGP?
LPS is a swear word in the industry at the point in time. We have LPS receivables of at the moment. From you said you're asking specifically for SNGPL. It is over
SNGPL in
200
total.
billion.
SNGPL in total.
Yes. The total is over 200 billion at the moment, but LPS is, our first step is to get the principal back. So we're working towards that. LPS, it's going to be decided by the government of how much is it will be reimbursed and how. So that's why it's not in our books. We've not accrued for that amount. We are claiming it. We have not let go of our claim, but this is our very justified claim because we've incurred financial cost as well. But yes, my first aim would be to recover the principal amount received.
Okay, and just sorry for asking another question. Just one thing on EV charging front. You have been very active on EV charging facilities. So what are the company plans with regards to setting up EV chargers in the next 2 to 3 years? How many EV chargers will be set up? And right now, what is the current capex cost of setting up a EV charger? If you can share some light. Thank you.
Okay, we already embarked on putting up the EV chargers because we think that's the alternate source of energy, given the prices of oil and cheap alternate available to the public. We got into the contract with HUBCO. To start with, we had the MOU for 25 sites, and we have the plans to aggressively expand our EV installation at our PSO retail stations.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Next we have Shankar Talreja.
Thank you so much. This is Shankar Talreja. So my first question is, like you mentioned, कि circular date से related एक payment जो है you guys are expecting. तो उसमें आपने एक चीज डिस्कस की थी कि you are trying to get both principal and LPS amount. LPS amount भी आपने डिस्कस किया कि overall company का is more than 200 billion. But with specific to RLNG payment, if you can comment कि वो amount LPS का कितना है और आप what I understand आप लोग LPS जो है PNL में रिकॉर्ड नहीं करते, इट्स अ सेपरेट आइटम और अकाउंट रिसीवेबल में भी वो रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं होता. दिस इज व्हाट माय अंडरस्टैंडिंग है. वो जो 220 अरब रुपए बासित ने कमेंट किया था कि आरएलएनजी पेमेंट के अंडर हैं आपके, वो 100% प्रिंसिपल अमाउंट है जो कि बैलेंस शीट पे रिकॉर्डेड है.
जी बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं, बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं आप. हम लोग एलपीएस रिकॉर्ड नहीं करते हैं बिकॉज वी आर बीइंग वेरी प्रूडेंट. हमने एलपीएस हमारा जो रिफाइनरीज की तरफ ड्यू है इन द रेम ऑफ circular debt, we've recorded that. So like any other accountant, we've been very prudent in our booking. So वो है और SNGPL का सबसे बड़ा हमारा recoverable है, like you said. So हम इसको कर रहे हैं, लेकिन हमारी तो देखें एज अ कंपनी तो मेरा क्लेम है उनके ऊपर और इसीलिए हम तो कर रहे हैं इसके ऊपर कोशिश. लेकिन ये कि किस तरह से मिलेंगे, कैसे सेटल होगा, इस वक्त तो हम मेरी फर्स्ट ट्राई तो यही है कि मेरा प्रिंसिपल कहीं से रिकवर हो जाए, because that is more important to me than the LPS at this one time. We will work for all it. Nowhere I have let go of my claim of LPS, so that is there, and we will be working towards that.
बट अमाउंट कितना होगा स्पेसिफिक टू आरएलएनजी, प्रिंसिपल अमाउंट एंड नहीं वो टोटल आपने बताया
323 जो है 323 आपका जो है सर्कुलर डेट का इसका SNGPL का टोटल अमाउंट हमारा है 323 के अराउंड। SNGPL का जो इनकम है इसका, सॉरी, प्रिंसिपल है वो 325 या इसके अराउंड है, और जो वो है LPS इज अराउंड 200 बिलियन।
ओके एंड हमने देखा था जो फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड क्वार्टर ऑफ फिस्कल ईयर 25 जो जुलाई टू दिसंबर का क्वार्टर था, दैट वाज गुड फ्रॉम द रिकवरीज पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू फॉर द सुई नॉर्थ, और सुई नॉर्थ ने आगे सबको पेमेंट्स भी काफी टाइमली की थी। बट इन द थर्ड क्वार्टर, मार्च क्वार्टर और अभी जून क्वार्टर जो है, रिकवरीज के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से हैज बीन ऑन अ वेरी लोअर साइड। इफ यू कैन वैलिडेट दिस के वाकई इस तरह की सिचुएशन है जो थर्ड क्वार्टर में रिसीवेबल बढ़े हैं OGTC, PPL, PSO के, इज द सेम केस इन द फोर्थ क्वार्टर एज वेल, अभी तक का जो ट्रेंड है?
In February 2024, we had a meeting at the Ministry of Petroleum where we kind of agreed that we will not accumulate any debt from SNGPL any further. And since that, we have kept that situation. So हमारी payments में, हमारी recoveries में कोई change नहीं आया है। हम जितना हमको देते हैं वो सारा हम recover करते हैं, because we are not in a position to borrow anymore as well. So ये हमने कम से कम मेंटेन किया, और SNGPL ने हो सकता है कि किसी को नहीं दिए हों पैसे, हमारी पूरी रिकवरी हमें मिली है from that, for that during that period. आगे का मुझे नहीं मालूम. We make sure there is a sometimes twice a day conversation going on with SNGPL on a very regular basis. कि हमारे पैसे जो हम जितना उनको गैस देते हैं, LNG देते हैं, उसकी हमारी मंथ टू मंथ रिकवरी हो जाती है.
This
This
as
is
of
all
now
told
till May 2025. ओके, तो टिल मई जो है आपको पेमेंट अपनी पूरी मिल रही है?
बिल्कुल.
Okay, and one more question, that's with regards to the smuggling of the oil. So, can you share your expert opinion on the quantum of smuggling जो कि इस वक्त डीजल की है from the Iran side?
स्मगलिंग पे देर आर वेरियस रिपोर्ट्स इंडस्ट्री और स्टेक होल्डर लेवल पे. द नंबर्स दैट हैव बीन थ्रोन आर इन द रेंज ऑफ 1500 to 6000 tons. But जो at large understanding है, that number varies between 2 to 4000 tons a day. Or depending upon weather conditions, law enforcement actions, time to time ये vary भी करता है. But जो estimate number industry में discuss होता है, that is in the range of 2000 to 4000 tons a day.
Okay, well, one last question from my side, with your permission. We have seen you have increased the retail outlets by 67 in this year. बीच में when back 2 years back, 3 years back, जब हम OMCs cover करते थे, तो उस वक्त I think there was a restriction, geographical restriction थी, overall restriction थी कि आप लोग fuel outlets expand नहीं कर सकते. क्या वो remove हो गई है या वो understanding गलत है हमारी?
नहीं, वो बात आपकी ठीक है. वो कुछ अर्सा पहले, क्योंकि ओगरा का एक फॉर्मूला है, बिकॉज फॉर एवरी OMC दे एलोकेट द नंबर ऑफ आउटलेट्स बेस्ड ऑन द स्टोरेज दे हैव. तो उसमें कुछ मिड कंट्री के अंदर स्टोरेज की लिमिटेशन थी. वो हमने, जैसे मैडम ने बताया अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन में, वी हैव एडेड द स्टोरेज एंड अकॉर्डिंगली जो रिस्ट्रिक्शन थी दैट हैज बीन रिमूव्ड सम टाइम बैक.
Can we expect continuation of retail expansion in the subsequent years?
Yeah, that's right. That's a part of our future strategy. We will keep on adding our high potential good locations just to not only maintain the existing market share, but to increase the market share and give access to our customers to our retail stations.
ओके, जस्ट एक नंबर अगर आप डिस्कस करना चाहें कि ओवरऑल कार्ड पेमेंट्स, POS पेमेंट्स के थ्रू आपकी सेल्स कितनी है एट द रिटेल स्टेशन? डू यू हैव दिस नंबर? क्योंकि बीच में एक ये भी बात आ रही थी कि शायद डिजिटल पेमेंट्स के थ्रू गवर्नमेंट कोई डिस्काउंट दे पेट्रोलियम प्राइसेस पे. तो वी आर जस्ट ट्राइंग टू गेट द एस्टिमेट कि वो पूरी इंडस्ट्री का डिजिटल पेमेंट्स के थ्रू परचेज कितना होगा, इफ यू हैव दैट एस्टिमेट रेडी.
जी प्रेजेंटली जो डिजिटल पेमेंट्स है हमारे फ्यू ट्रांजैक्शंस की दैट अकाउंट्स फॉर अराउंड 12 to 13% ओवरऑल, जिसमें आपकी बैंक कार्ड्स के थ्रू और पीएसओ की अपनी क्लोज्ड लूप सिस्टम में हमारे कार्ड प्रोडक्ट्स के थ्रू जो पेमेंट्स होती है दैट इज अराउंड 12 to 13%। और बाकी इंडस्ट्री का जो तकरीबन अप्रोक्सीमेट प्रोपोर्शन है दैट इज 9 to 10% ओवरऑल फॉर द इंडस्ट्री।
चलो, थैंक यू सो मच।
Next we have Asif from Alpha Investments.
हेलो सर, अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर। मेरा क्वेश्चन था कि हम लोग अगर एनालिसिस कर रहे थे कि आरएलएनजी कार्गोस के, तो हम वो 5 आरएलएनजी कार्गोस जो हैं वो एक्सपेक्टेड थे जो 2025 में वो डिलेड हो गए हैं इन 2026। तो सर काइंडली फर्स्ट तो ये बता दें कि ये कार्गोस जो थे वो ड्यू थे अंडर फर्स्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट आरएलएनजी जो 2016 में हुआ था, या सेकंड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के अंडर ड्यू थे ये?
They are part of both the contracts.
ओके सर, एक और चीज़ थी कि अगर हम लोग अगर 2026 में देखें कि हम लोग अगर उसका क्लॉज देख रहे थे 2016 का जो आरएलएनजी का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट था, तो उसके अंदर ऐसा भी है कि अगर प्राइस एग्री नहीं होती तो ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एंड भी हो सकता है। तो अगर सर ऐसा कुछ सिनेरियो होता है तो उसके अंदर फिर आपको ये आरएलएनजी कार्गोस जो है वो आपको उसका प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा। मतलब आरएलएनजी कार्गोस अगर ऐड भी हो रहे हो 2026 में तो उसका प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा। इस पे थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन कर लेंगे सर प्लीज?
नहीं, वो डिपेंड करता है मार्केट कंडीशन क्या होगी उस वक्त, आपकी इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी कैसे मूव करती है, ग्रो करेगी। और वी डोंट सी एनी इशू। वो प्राइस ओपनर है मार्च के अंदर नेक्स्ट ईयर, सो लेट वी आर होपिंग फॉर द बेस्ट।
सर राइट, बस एक लास्ट चीज थी इसके अंदर। एक और चीज थी, जैसे 5 का आरएलएनजी कार्गोस 2025 में ऐड हो रहे थे, इसी तरह आपको 2026 में कुछ न्यू कार्गोस भी ऐड हो रहे हैं?
नहीं, ऐड नहीं हो रहे। वी आर गोइंग बाय द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। एनुअल वॉल्यूम्स हैं वो फिक्स हैं एज पर द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। ऐड नहीं हुए, बल्कि हमने 5 कागज जो हैं वो डेफर किए हैं 25 में।
ओके सर, असल में सर उसको एक्सप्लेन वो समझने की कोशिश कर रहे थे। 2024 में वो कार्गोस आपके पास थे, आपने वो डिले कर दिए इन 2025, राइट?
जी, दैट्स राइट।
ओके सर, बस एक लास्ट चीज थी रिगार्डिंग योर फाइनेंशियल सर। एक ऑपरेटिंग सेगमेंट्स आप में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करते हैं सर, मुझे ये बता देंगे एलपीजी और लुब्रिकेंट्स जो है वो पेट्रोलियम सेगमेंट में ही आप वो कर रहे होते हैं या वो अदर्स में कर रहे होते हैं?
Sorry, क्या? Can you repeat that?
दोबारा बताएं।
सर एलपीजी और लुब्रिकेंट की जो सेल्स होती है, आपके 3 सेगमेंट बने हुए हैं, पेट्रोलियम, एलएनजी एंड अदर्स। ऑपरेटिंग सेगमेंट की बात कर रहा हूँ। तो सर उसके अंदर एलपीजी और लुब्रिकेंट्स जो हैं वो पेट्रोलियम सेगमेंट में क्लासिफाई करते हैं या फिर आप अदर्स में कर रहे होते हैं?
Lubricants are part of petroleum, whereas the LPG is part of others.
ओके सर, थैंक यू।
Next we have Sarmad Masood.
जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। Am I audible?
Yes.
First of all, thank you to the management for sparing time for the shareholders and investors. So my first question is, आप लोगों ने presentation में एक graph show किया है, which is EBITDA minus uncontrollable factors. So could you give us the equation of those factors, like what is EBITDA minus those?
कौन से फैक्टर्स?
EBITDA minus
अनकंट्रोलेबल।
अनकंट्रोलेबल फैक्टर में सबसे बड़ा जो फैक्टर है ना वो प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस ऑन ये जो इन्वेंट्री गेन्स एंड लॉसेस होते हैं, विच आर अ फैक्टर ऑफ द इंटरनेशनल मूवमेंट ऑफ प्राइसेस। सो सबसे बड़ा जो अनकंट्रोलेबल फैक्टर, और बल्कि मोस्टली वही होता है कि आपका जो इन्वेंट्री गेन्स एंड लॉसेस होते हैं ड्यू टू इंटरनेशनल मूवमेंट ऑफ प्राइसेस।
ठीक है, तो अगर मैं EBITDA फाइंड करूं और EBITDA को आपका जो उस ग्राफ के नंबर है उससे कंपेयर करूं, तो the only difference will be, or broadly the difference would be inventory losses, right?
Broadly, not only, broadly, yes.
Okay, ठीक है. So moving towards my second question, what is like the margin from a charging station you are expecting? आप लोग recovery time कितना देखते हैं on an average side, और एक charger की cost वगैरह कितनी है?
देखिए, अभी ये as I told you, it's at the beginning stage. जो आपके रेट्स हैं इलेक्ट्रिसिटी चार्जिंग के, दे आर डिक्लेयर्ड बाय द मिनिस्ट्री, राइट? पावर डिवीजन ने उसके स्पेशल टैरिफ उसका डिक्लेयर किया हुआ है. सो ऑन ए ट्रायल बेसिस आई थिंक अगर आप मार्जिन्स की बात करें, सो देयर रेंजेस, देयर रीजनेबल मार्जिन्स बिटवीन 15 to 20%.
Okay. And like, what is the cost of installing a site or a charger?
So initially, जो pilot project हमने किए थे उसका cost ज़्यादा थी. Those were European and American brands, so one charger costed roughly $50,000 to $60,000. Now, since the Chinese have developed the technology and the technology has brought the prices down, so now in the market, now the new EV charger is costing roughly $20,000 to $25,000.
But that's just the charging cost. There are other costs
Yeah.
involved as well.
And those would be like roughly 50% of the charging cost, as in setting up site, training human resources, billing mechanism, etc.
वो depend करता है from varies from location to location.
Okay. So moving on towards my next question, it is: do you have any tax losses or tax credits piled up that you can use in the future? And if so, what is the amount?
We don't have any tax credits, so other than the जो accounting deferred taxation होती है वो है थोड़ी बहुत, but ऐसी कोई tax credits नहीं है हमारे पास जो कि मुझे future में benefit करेंगे.
ठीक है. तो जो आप लोगों का deferred tax है, जो आप लोग positively use कर सकते हैं, उसकी आप हमें एक rough amount बता सकते हैं कितनी है?
Accounts में disclose होती है, आप देख लीजिएगा. मतलब वो very change होती रहती है, और that's a matter of accounting. वो तो फिर accounts में होती है, वो आप देख लीजिएगा.
Okay. What is your current distribution cost per liter, and going forward, where do you see it?
Distribution cost per what? Liter?
Yes.
हमारी देखिए बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स हैं. अगेन ये बड़ा इस तरह से इट्स नॉट अ मैथ इक्वेशन. डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कॉस्ट के अंदर आपकी होल्डिंग कॉस्ट भी आ जाती है, आपकी ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट भी आ जाती है, पाइपलाइन की कॉस्ट भी आ जाती है. सो जो आपका ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट परसेंट है, आप उसी को देख लें कि वो ही आपका जो तकरीबन आपका परसेंट ऑफ डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कॉस्ट आपकी आ जाती है. तो इट्स नॉट अ फैक्टर ऑफ कि मैं आपको दे दूं कि मेरी आज 1.23 पर लीटर है, 1.57 पर लीटर है, 4.26 पर लीटर है. वो कैलकुलेट होती है. इट्स अ फैक्टर ऑफ मेनी फैक्टर्स. तो वो इस तरह से एक स्पेसिफिक मैं आपको नंबर नहीं दे सकती.
ठीक है. I do recall in the
ये मैं आपको
previous.
बता दूं बिकॉज ऑफ इकोनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल, PSO की जो है वो as compared to the industry is the lowest.
Yes, that definitely is. I recall previous आप लोगों ने meetings में highlight की कि it is somewhere around 2.3, 2.2. तो yeah. So I was assuming कि इसी के आसपास होगी. खैर आप लोग, मेरा last question है, price deregulation पे बता दीजिए. उस पे काफी बात on and off serious हो जाती है from the ministry.
नहीं, एक अच्छा इनिशिएटिव है. We've been part of teams which the ministry is exploring. Of course, the decision is not on PSO. The decision is on the overall scenario जिस तरह से है. It is also very sensitive issue, deregulation, because आपके जो far flung areas हैं उस पे कैसे pricing होगी. अभी तो IFM की protection सबको available है. फ्यूचर में वो होगी कि नहीं होगी, बहुत सारी चीजें हैं. तो सब फैक्टर अगेन वो द मिनिस्ट्री जो है वो सब देख रही है, एंड इंशाल्लाह विल सी कि किस तरह से उसको मैनेज करना है. बट वी आर वेरी प्रो डीरेगुलेशन, क्योंकि हमें लगता है कि आवर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी विल इंक्रीज एंड आवर कंपेटिटिव पोजीशन इन द मार्केट विल इंक्रीज बेस्ड ऑन दैट.
Okay. Thank you very much.
जी सर, मोहम्मद अली फ्रॉम एकेडी सिक्योरिटीज. मेरा पहला सवाल ये था कि ये हम समझते हैं कि जो आपकी ओएमसी मार्जिन, रेगुलेटेड मार्जिन होते हैं, वो सीपीआई की कोई इंडेक्सेशन होती है. तो एक तो आपका प्रायर रह चुका है, अभी 2023 में लास्ट टाइम रिवाइज हुआ था. तो इसमें जो भी नेक्स्ट रिवीजन आया कितनी परसेंटेज बेसिस पे आएगा, और मूविंग फॉरवर्ड क्योंकि सीपीआई भी 3-4% या 5% के एवरेज पे है, तो वो उसी हिसाब से चलेगा या कोई और परसेंटेज गेन होगा? दूसरा सवाल ये है मेरा. जी
अच्छा, मैं इसका जवाब दे देता हूँ. देखिए ये इस बार जीरो बेस बजटिंग भी करवाई थी उन्होंने. जीरो बेस हमारे से कॉस्टिंग करवाई थी उन्होंने, और हमें सारा जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का किसका कितना कॉस्ट है, हमारी कितनी कॉस्ट है पर स्टेशन क्या है, फॉर्म से ली थी. We provided our information to the ministry. It's on them. वो दूसरे भी OMC से ले रहे हैं वो cost और फिर वो एक करेंगे. OGRA is a party that you should be asking this question, not PSO. We've given up. It's not based on CPI. I can assure you that.
राइट. अच्छा, कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर कॉस्ट जो आपकी स्टोरेज टर्मिनल की बनाने की होती है, वो कोई आप अंदाजा दे सकते हैं? लास्ट टाइम आपने 30,000 पर मेट्रिक टन कमेंट किया था, तो आपको एस्केलेट हुआ है ये नंबर?
So that range between 30 to 40,000 depending upon the size of the construction, because now there are economies of scale involved अगर बड़ा टैंक आप बना रहे हैं. So the range is between 30 to 40,000 per metric ton.
राइट. अच्छा, लास्ट टाइम आपने ये भी बताया था कि आप पावर प्लांट्स, दो पावर प्लांट्स की इक्विटी लेके अपने सर्कुलर डेट की जो ओइंग है वो मतलब स्वैप कर लेंगे, तो वो प्लान इन प्रोसेस है? क्योंकि इसके लिए ऑडिटर्स हायर हुए थे.
The various proposals are on the table. अब government किस तरह से इसको resolve करती है, it is not on us. We've given our proposals for resolving the circular debt issue in many proposals, and this is also one of the proposal which is amongst the mix. जब ये होगा circular debt का overall issue resolve, तब पता चलेगा कि क्या government serious है, किसमें क्या चीज करने में serious है.
राइट, थैंक यू.
So last we have Ikram Masood.
All right, so I assume there are no further questions. Thank you everyone for joining in. We appreciate your interest in PSO. We also assure that we will continue to grow the company as much as possible and strengthen its customers and also excel in our services. So thank you everyone. Allah Hafiz.
Recording stopped.